On the seasonal summer makeup video collab that I did with Andy, Toni, one of my subscribers, commented requesting this video. Let me read you her comment. She said, "I live in Arizona. Could you please do a video on your summer powder foundation routine with your top picks?" Now, before I get into anything else, I want to show you something that you have seen many, many times here on my channel. This, as you know, is my holy grail. This is the CoverGirl Simply Ageless Instant Wrinkle Blurring Pressed Powder. It is not technically a foundation. It is a pressed powder. But it's what I reach for more than anything else, as you can see by the enormous pan. This is what I reach for more than anything else on this list that we're about to go over. That should tell you just about everything you need to know on my philosophy when it comes to makeup for mature skin. I don't follow the rules about what the label says. I follow what works on my face. Okay? Before I get into the products, I want to say something with my whole entire heart. Stop trying to hide your face. I know that sounds really simple, but there are so many of us out here piling foundation all over our face, trying to hide every pore, every line, every blemish, all the things. So what you end up doing is you are just putting a mask on your face. And a mask is not going to make you look younger. It's just going to make you look like you're wearing a mask. Here's what I've learned in my makeup journey. Too much heavy products on mature skin does not solve any problems. It actually creates them. When I put too much product on my face, it gets hot. It gets itchy, and then I start to sweat. And then the whole thing just starts to fall apart. And I feel worse than when I started. So my approach is a light hand. Buildable coverage. Work with your skin, not against it. If you've got a problem area, just dab a little bit of concealer on it to give yourself a little bit of extra coverage if that problem area bothers you. Then do a light, even coverage of foundation all over your face. There are other products that will help. Primers, setting sprays, mist. We're going to talk about all of that. But the foundation itself, keep it light, especially when you're using powder. Let your skin breathe. Let your face be your face, because it's a good face. It is. Here's the thing about powder foundation. Well, pretty much any foundation. It does not behave the same way on every skin type. And if you have been frustrated with powder foundations in the past, there's a good chance that maybe it wasn't the product. It was a match between that product and your skin. So let's talk about your skin real quick. In my opinion, the most important step in any makeup routine is your skin prep. But before you can do good skin prep, you need to know what type of skin you have. Hopefully, us mature girls have lived with our skin long enough that we know what our skin type is. So if you have dry skin, and typically as we get older, our skin will get a little bit drier, especially when our estrogen drops. So powder foundation can be a little tricky. It can grab onto those dry patches, so you need to make sure, if your skin tolerates it, that you exfoliate consistently, not just a one and done. Make sure if you have dry skin that you're using a really good moisturizer before you attempt to put any powder foundation on your face at all. You want to look for formulas that have hydrating ingredients, such as hyaluronic acid, maybe those that have a light skin oil in it, things like that. If you have oily skin, powder is actually going to be helpful to you in the summertime. It will help to control the shine and actually absorb the oil, making your powder foundation look even better and actually give you really good longevity. If you're an oily girl, your problem is going to be finding one that's not terribly matte. A matte foundation, powder foundation for oily skin is good because as you go through the day, your natural oils are going to kind of give you that natural glow. But if you go too matte, then you're going to end up with cakey, flat-looking foundation by the end of the day. If you have combo skin like me, oily in the T-zone, kind of normal everywhere else, you're kind of navigating both of these things at once. In the summer, I get a little bit more oil through my T-zone than normal, especially when it's really hot. And here in Missouri, it gets very hot and very humid. In Arizona, where Toni lives, it's very dry. So I need something that handles my oil without over drying my cheeks and the rest of my face. So dry heat and humidity, totally different problems when it comes to powdered foundation, or any foundation, actually, for that matter. In the humidity, your makeup melts. In the dry heat, your skin's going to get very dehydrated. The air is going to pull moisture out of your face all day long. So even if you don't think of yourself as having dry skin, in that type of situation, you're going to need to make sure you keep your skin moisturized and maybe even misted throughout the day. Okay, skin prep, very, very important to the finish of your makeup, whether you're using powder or liquid foundation. Very important. Typically, I don't use a face primer. If you're wanting to use a primer, you should look for a primer that does what you want it to do. Some primers are going to blur your pores. I like to use the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. Of course, I had forgotten how much I like this, but I have been using it, and I'm almost done. This is in a project pan. But I find that this does kind of blur my pores in my T-zone where they're a little bit bigger because I'm an oily girl. And it also does kind of help to set your skin prep down. But your skin prep, your moisturizer, and all the serums and everything that you use will absolutely work as a primer. Now, once I put the primer on, I use a setting spray. Right now I'm using the D'Alba setting spray. We'll talk more about that later. Once you have put the setting spray on, if it feels just a little bit too tacky, then you can lightly use a setting powder over your setting spray. But all of that is going to help to set your skin, set your face, to kind of help control either your oils or your dry skin. It's going to hold your moisturizer against your skin to help it not be quite so dry throughout the day, and also will be a barrier between your skin and your makeup to help control the oils. Although I find, as I said earlier, that when my skin starts to get a little bit oily during the day, it makes my powder foundation look even better. I'm just saying. Let me show you how I apply my powder foundation. For applying my powder foundation, I like to use a foundation brush. This is the Rose and Ben C42. It is my all-time favorite Holy Grail foundation brush. And I just pat it into the foundation. I don't apply a heavy amount of foundation all at once. I like to do it in layers. So I get an amount on my brush, and then I pat. I don't swipe. I just pat the foundation on. And I just keep applying and building to the amount of coverage that I want, which is typically for me not heavy. I don't like to do heavy coverage on my face. You have to be careful around your eyebrows because you can get a thick coating of foundation in your eyebrows. If you do, just take a spoolie and you can brush it out. Otherwise, it just looks very cakey in that area. Once I get the amount of coverage that I want, and I do pull it down my neck, I don't pat it on my neck area. I do pull it down there. But once I get it to the coverage that I want, then I will just put a little bit on my brush and I will buff it into the skin. You don't want the foundation to just sit on top of your skin. You want to make sure that you're buffing it to really get it to lay on your skin correctly. Once you have the amount of coverage that you want, then you can kind of pull if you want. But initially, you need to pat it onto your skin. And then once I have all of the rest of my face on, and yes, including my eyeshadow, but before I do my brows, my mascara, and my lip, I will set my face. To me, this is very, very important when you're dealing with powder foundation because it kind of melds everything together and gets rid of that powdery look. What I'm currently loving is this D'Alba First Spray Serum. It is a white truffle serum, and you can get this on Amazon. Very, very reasonable. This stuff is magical. I don't know if you notice it separates. You have to shake it up really well. And then I use a dry sponge because I don't want my sponge to be wet with water. I'm going to show you what I do. So I take this and I spray my face. And I give it a pretty good dosing. And then I spray my sponge. This is a little e.l.f. concealer sponge. And then I press that into the sponge. And then I go over. I just press. And I do my entire face. And it gets rid of that powder look. And yes, I even do my eyeshadow because my eyeshadow is a powder and my eyes are very crinkly, and that kind of, it just makes it look better, in my humble opinion. Then I go into my setting powder. You don't have to necessarily use a setting powder. You can use a finishing powder. I love the Fenty Pro Filter setting powder in lavender. It is my holy grail favorite. I just put some of that in the cap. I take a big fluffy brush. I get a little bit on the brush, and then I kind of put that in my hand. And I do this. I don't feel that this step is necessary, but I like to do this because some sprays can make your face feel sticky, and I do not like to feel sticky. I don't like it. So I do that, and now it seems a little crazy to put a powder on when you just worked hard to get rid of the powdery look. I just take the sponge that is still just a little damp, and I just go back over it to get rid of that powdery look. And that is how I do my powder foundation. Now for me, I cannot stress this enough, I do not put my powder foundation on heavy. I feel like the heavier you put it on, the cakier it's going to be. Now, if you feel like you need full coverage, then by all means, apply it a little bit heavier. Most foundations have these little pads in them so that you can apply it. I don't like to put my foundation on that way because it applies it too heavy for me. I really like my foundation, powder foundation, to be very light. Even if I wear a liquid foundation, I don't like heavy, cakey, full coverage. I don't like it. I am okay with how my skin looks with a light coverage. So you can try putting it on this way and just make sure that you're setting it well, or that your face is very well moisturized so that you don't get that cakiness. You can also try the little poofs, and you can, pat that in there and pat it on your face, but I prefer to use my foundation brush. For me, that is the most effective way to put on my powder foundation. Now, once you've got your foundation on and you're going through your day, there are a few things that you can do. They have hydrating mist. This is a makeup refreshing spray, and it is from Fenty Beauty. It separates. You just shake it up to mix it. And this is a very nice product. Lots of different brands have these refreshing mist, and you can get them fairly cheap. I would not carry this big bottle in my purse, but you can buy the little small plastic spray bottles from off of Amazon, or if you have a little sample size of a setting spray, once you're finished with that, you can put this in it to put in your purse so that you can carry that with you, and you can just refresh your makeup throughout the day. You can also put a little poof in your purse, and you can try different powders. This is the CoverGirl Clean and Fresh. It is just a translucent type powder. This powder works very, very well. Other brands have powders too. LYS has a nice setting powder. Is this a setting powder? Yes, it's a setting powder. You could do a finishing powder, whatever works for you and your skin type. LYS even has this little bitty one. This is a skin finishing powder. This is nice and small, would work really well in your purse, and it works well with a poof. You just press it in there, get some on there, like that. You can press it on the back of your hand so that it's not so powdery, and then just press it in the areas where you're having a little bit of trouble. And then use your spray, and you're good to go. They also have little small containers of loose powder. This is the Bare Minerals Mineral Veil, if you would prefer to have a loose powder. And then just get you a little small bag and throw all of that in there, and you can freshen up your makeup during the day if that's a problem. I do not do that, because whatever my face looks like at the end of the day, that's what my face looks like at the end of the day. Just like I was talking about my lipstick. I don't reapply my lipstick. I don't really freshen up my makeup. I have used this, especially in the summertime, because it gets really hot and I don't like how my skin feels. And it's just nice when you're hot and sweaty to take that freshening spray. e.l.f. had one. I don't know if they still have it. If I will look, and if they have it, I will have all of the links to the products. I keep forgetting I have YouTube Shopping. If they're available on YouTube Shopping, I'll put it there too. But if e.l.f. still has that spray. It was kind of like a refreshing or a makeup refresh spray. It was cucumber and it was really nice, but I don't know if they still make that. You know, they discontinue all the good stuff. I didn't tell you what foundation I put on my face. Let's see if you can guess which one it is. I'll tell you at the end. I'm going to go over the foundations that I actually have. Now, I have a ton of liquid foundation, and I don't even like liquid foundation, but I do not have a lot of powdered foundations, which says something. So I have 6 foundations here, and I'm only going to rank 5 of them because one of them has been discontinued, and that is the Essence 16-Hour Cover and Last Powder Foundation. I looked online and I could not find this available. I mean, I think maybe you might be able to get it on Amazon, but as far as on the Essence website, they don't make this anymore. And all the reviews for this foundation were really good. It comes with a mirror and has the little poof thing in it. So I don't know why they decided to discontinue this, but it is a good foundation. I just don't use it as much as I use these others. And I don't want to rank it because it's not available anymore. So starting with number 5, that is going to be my Estee Lauder. This is the Double Wear Stay in Place Matte Powder Foundation, and the shade I have is 3 in 1. This foundation has a cult following. It's been around forever. It is sweat proof, humidity resistant, and will stay in place for 12 hours. The finish on this is a matte finish. Because of the matte finish, that is the reason that it's coming in at number 5. If you have dry skin, this matte foundation will make your skin look even drier. It's going to emphasize your texture a little bit more, so you really have to do your prep work when using this foundation. If you have oily skin, the Estee Lauder foundation is going to work very well for you. Coming in at number 4 is my Jane Iredale foundation. One of the things that I don't like about this foundation is the shade and everything is on the back of the compact, so I have to take it out to see what it is. This is the Pure Pressed Base Mineral Foundation, and it is in the shade Satin. And I do love that you just buy a replacement. The inside of the compact says, kindness is everything, and I love that. This is going to be your clean beauty option. It doesn't have any talc in it. There's no fragrance. There's no parabens. It's vegan. They are cruelty-free brand. It is a pure mineral foundation that has been around for decades. It has an SPF built into it, which is a bonus. It is also water resistant for about 40 minutes. The finish is semi-matte and it's very natural looking. The coverage is buildable and it's gentle. So if you have acne-prone skin, this foundation will be very kind to your skin. This also has antioxidants in it, like pomegranate extract, pine bark extract. So it's actually doing something for your skin while you wear it. Now, the shade, as you can see, is very, very light. It is good for me in the wintertime, not so much in the summertime. Number 3 is going to be my Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Soft Matte Powder Foundation, and it is in the shade 260. And as you can see, I have a big, giant pan in this foundation. I had used this foundation a lot, and then I quit using it because I had other powder foundations that I wanted to use. And I put it in my plan to pan for 2026, and I have gotten a lot of usage out of it so far this year. I'm hoping to completely pan it, if at all possible. It is a soft matte finish. It has light to medium coverage, which I prefer, and it does not look cakey on your skin. unless, of course, you over apply. The finish on this is a little bit more matte, so it is good for oily to combination skin. It does help control the oils throughout the day, which is phenomenal. And it will also stay put. For dry skin, again, your prep work is going to determine how well this foundation works on your skin type. Number 2 is going to be Natasha Denona. This is the High Glam Powdered Foundation, and this is in the shade N6. And this, did I show you that the Fenty had, this has a mirror and a pad as well, and so did the Fenty. Most of these do. The Jane Iredale did not. It did have a mirror in it, but it did not have a poof in it. This powdered foundation is a little bit newer, and it has gotten a lot of hype. The texture of this foundation is unlike anything that I've ever really worked with before. It's very creamy, and I know that it sounds a little crazy for a powder to be hydrating, but this powdered foundation is very hydrating. So for those of you that have dry skin or are in a very dry climate, this foundation would work very well for you. It has kind of a luminous matte finish, so it controls the shine, it doesn't go flat, and it almost makes your skin look like it's alive. This foundation has pigments in it that are designed to flex with your skin. That means that as you move, as you talk or smile or laugh, this foundation is not going to crack or flake. It's got resveratrol, hyaluronic acid, and antioxidants in it. It has a hefty price tag, and it comes with medium to full coverage, but it's really more of a medium coverage than full, even though the brand says otherwise. All around, though, this is a wonderful foundation, and I really do like it. Coming in at number 1 is my Laura Geller Baked Balance and Brighten Color Correcting Foundation in the shade Medium. And if you can see, I have used this quite a bit. There's quite a dip going in there. And did any of you guess that this is what I have on today? This is what I use today. I have been using this. I pulled this in one of my Shop My Stash. I don't remember which one it was. March, maybe. I have been using it since then, and I can't put it down. I just really love it. It is a phenomenal foundation, especially for us mature gals. I believe that this foundation has been around for 20 years, and it's got like 43,000 ratings on Amazon. It is definitely worth the hype. What makes this different from other powdered foundations is how it's made. It starts out as a cream. It's put on a terracotta plate and baked in Italy. So even though it's a powder, when you put it on, it kind of acts somewhat like a cream on your skin. It doesn't just sit on top of your face. It kind of melts into it. But also, as you saw with my routine of how I do my foundation, I make sure that all of my foundation is going to melt in and meld with my skin. This foundation is dermatologist approved, and it also has the National Rosacea Society seal. It's fragrance-free, so if you have sensitive skin, this foundation would be perfect. The coverage is light to medium and buildable. The finish is what I would call kind of a demi-matte, natural with a little bit of radiance. And it has self-adjusting pigments, so even if you're in between shades, this will still work. I wear this in the summer and in the winter. This powdered foundation is good for all skin types. Oily, dry, sensitive, combo. This one's got you covered. And then there's this, my holy grail. I wear this as a foundation all the time. I love it. I have different shades. This is a brand new one. It has the little poof in it and a mirror, like I said, and this even works over top of your foundation. It does blur. It is phenomenal. Holy Grail. Please, CoverGirl, don't ever quit making this. And it's very affordable. Sometimes the best products are not the most expensive one, as we all know. So once again, I would like to thank Toni for this video idea. I had been wanting to do a video about my powdered foundations, and you gave me the push to do that, so I hope that this was helpful to you. Once again, your face does not need to be hidden. It needs to be taken care of. The most important thing that you can do for your skin is a good skincare routine. I will have a video coming out in July. Andy and I will be doing our collab in July, and it's going to be all about skincare. So make sure that you stay tuned for that. If you are a lover of powdered foundation, let me know down in the comments what your favorite powder foundation is. Maybe it's something that I haven't tried, and I would love to try a new foundation. If there is a powder foundation that you are interested in that I did not mention here, let me know that down in the comments as well. I'd be more than happy to pick it up and do a review. And as always, I'd like to remind you that makeup is meant to enhance the natural beauty that you already are, and we are all beautiful at any age and any size. Find something to be grateful for today, pull your makeup out and play with it, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay. Love you, bye.